yourself and get ready to witness Donald Trump bullet-dodging skills that will make Neo from the Matrix envious. And guess what? The left is already concocting wild conspiracy theories claiming Trump orchestrated the whole thing himself. Meanwhile, the right is diving headfirst into another JFK-style cover-up saga. Oh, and the White House has more leaks than a Star's OnlyFans account spoiling President Biden's big announcement about stepping down from the next race. But enough of that nonsense, because there's one burning question on everyone's mind. Project 2025. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. The number of text messages I am getting from some of my friends who are getting their news from social media like TikTok or the mainstream media, i.e. CNN, The View, MSNBC, CBS, late night talk shows, Starbucks, Friends, Neighbors, BET, and almost every single person that I know that's part of the LGBT community is up in arms over Project 2025. So clearly, the messaging is working. Congratulations, libs. You're doing something right. But my goal here is to point out the hypocrisy, the lies, the misinformation, and tone down the delirium on what is fact and fiction, while virtually offering you a cure to the TDS illness by providing what I call tell and show. Yes, I said it right, not show and tell. Where I give you the facts and then I show you the facts. So get your popcorn and let's talk about the world ending, aka Project 2025. Hit that intro.
Here's to show.
First and foremost, what is a comprehensive plan created by the Heritage Foundation, backed by over 100 conservative organizations, coming together as a think tank, aiming to implement conservative agendas across the political landscape through various pillars. And what I just said is a fact. No bias here. This is actually what is intended for Project 2025. Now let me deliver that same message in a liberal way for some of the libs to understand. Project 2025 is an alarming scheme crafted by the Heritage Foundation and a coalition of right-wing groups that were part of the Trump's administration, with its goal to radically transform the U.S. executive branch into a conservative stronghold envisioned by Trump. This plan seeks to dismantle federal agencies, install a database of Trump loyalists, and indoctrinate the future administration with extremist policies by Trump and his lackeys to threaten democracy, civil rights, and the social progress. Sounds very alarming, right? Now let's deliver the same message as a right-winger. Project 2025 is an ambitious and strategic blueprint by Heritage Foundation and a coalition of over 100 conservative organizations to reclaim and fortify the U.S. executive branch. I thought it was 80. Is it 80 or is it 100? Which one is it? The plan aims to dismantle bureaucracy overreach, replace entrenched leftist federal employees with dedicated conservatives, and train the future administration to uphold traditional values, safeguarding our national sovereignty and restore the constitutional governance. Sounds pretty reasonable, right? So who's telling the truth, the right or the left, or is it just about how you deliver the message?
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
This is what I would call the tell part, where I tell you what's happening. So now, let me show you.
For 100 years, the Council on Foreign Relations has been helping America play a vital part on the world stage. The Council has served as an invaluable resource for its members, policymakers, and the public by publishing bold new ideas, providing research and a forum for debate, and proposing policies.
Sorry, that was the wrong footage. Okay, so that was from a nonpartisan organization that is a think tank called the Council on Foreign Relations, and currently have members like George Clooney and the Clintons, and they, as well as former military-industrial complex supporters, Hollywood figures, and former Democratic politicians. It is 100% nonpartisan. Now that you got the left and the right and the independent version of Project 2025, what's all the fuss about? Well, from the 900 pages of Project 2025, let's take a look at what stands out as horrific by the left. Dismantling federal agencies, basically radically restructuring federal agencies such as the Department of Education, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, which according to the libs is seen as undermining essential government functions. All right? So if you have an issue with the FBI, if you have an issue with the Department of Education, and if you have an issue with Homeland Security, you are apparently part of the problem because you're supporting Project 2025. Mass deportation of illegal immigrants.
Number one, we have to close the border. We do have to initiate the largest mass deportation project in the history of this country. The 12 million people who've come in as illegal aliens must be sent back to their native countries.
Which raises significant humanitarian and ethical concerns for the liberals. So, fuck the American citizens and how that will affect them. Purging civil servant project proposes replacing tens of thousands of federal employees with conservative loyalists, which critics argue threatens the nonpartisan nature of the civil service and could lead to politicized government workforce, which I agree with. Okay, we shouldn't have that. However, isn't that the same thing that the libs are currently doing and what they're trying to hold on to? Now, this plan is based on a legal principle that grants the president extensive, unchecked powers, potentially reducing the checks and balances to democratic governance. Now, what does that mean? It means a centralized presidential powers. Not sure if you know this, but that's currently not a thing. The president power is limited to a certain extent, and with this idea, it would grant the president more authority without needing Congress in executive functions. Now, you ready for the twist? There are parallels happening right now. Biden made changes in the federal agencies where the approach focuses on appointing individuals who align with their policy goals and values and reverse previous executive orders of the previous president. Wow! If you don't believe me, and I'm telling you this again, fact check me, but fact check me with actual evidence.
Just bring it, bitch!
Now, the biggest issue of honesty I've observed for the left are they really upset about are the cultural and ideological changes they want to implement through Project 2025. You see, a lot of the woke talk and the radical left talk is all over a 900 pages pamphlet, kind of like how the TDS you see all over The View.
This is the worst.
Within these cultural and social issues, many libs are angry that Project 2025 is all about restricting gender-affirming care for minors. I want to say that again, Kendrick Lamar style.
They not like us.
Such as hormone therapies, surgeries, removing DEI from the board of companies, reversing Biden's administration that is focused on LGBTQ equity, which means the rights in the education system, like forcing the pronouns, having tampons in men's bathrooms, educating on sexual orientation, or protecting LGBTQ from being bullied. And look, I am all for the bullying part, but what does bullying really mean these days? If I say, hey, I'm a Christian and I follow the Bible, and to me, homosexuality is a sin, am I bullying you? According to a lot of them, I am.
You hit me on the sidewalk with your body.
Me.
You hit me.
Honey.
It's not honey anymore, bitch. It's not honey.
Aggressive.
And you're a bitch. Yeah, I am aggressive. I have PTSD, bitch.
Okay.
You the wrong tranny today, bitch.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
That's what you should be doing. You should be deleting that video.
Conservatives are also interested in stopping the LGBT forced representation quota for the key government positions. Libs, are you telling me you're not putting your own people in these key positions? They are also interested in abolishing the push of global LGBTQ rights movement and focus more on promoting a nuclear family, fatherhood, motherhood, marriage, as well as analyzing where the funding is going for social issues, aka where are my tax dollars going to and what am I paying for? Is it going to sex changes and abortions, or is it going to the streets that I drive on? And the education system my children partake in. Another huge contention focuses around pro-life versus pro-choice argument, and that alone deserves a video itself, specifically on the ideology of the two cults.
To put it simply, it's now up to the states. And like Ronald Reagan, I'm a believer in the exceptions, the three exceptions, as you know, and rape, incest, life of the mother.
You wouldn't support a national ban?
No, I wouldn't support a national ban. No, I would not.
We'll stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because We trust women.
Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart, or in many cases, your religion or your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do what's right for our country.
The former president wants to pass a national abortion ban to outlaw abortion in every single state.
You wouldn't support a national ban?
No, I wouldn't support a national ban. No, I would not.
Did I stutter?
The left has been aggressively publicizing 5 major issues aiming to alarm the public. While I don't support expanding presidential powers excessively, it's worth noting that the criticism seems to be driven by a reaction to the Supreme Court decision granting Trump immunity prosecution for actions taken during his presidency. This decision is being portrayed as a sign of him potentially becoming a dictator who can act with impunity. However, it is important to understand that the presidential immunity is a constitutional principle intended to protect the president from criminal prosecution for official actions while in office. You can Google search that. Now, with that being said, consider what might happen if immunity were not upheld as it has been in the past. If you were to challenge Trump's immunity case, it could set a precedent that might also affect the other former presidents, including Obama. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, like I said, sometimes people just get distracted with the person's personality, because let's just be real. Obama, very charismatic, something that Biden did not have. Seems like a very likable guy, like a guy I would like to get a beer with. But are you paying attention to the policies and what he's been doing? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, Obama intentionally assassinated 2 American citizens while being president. Immunity. That's a fact. Look it up. Never mind, I keep saying look it up. Look, this is a tell and show. So here you go.
You probably wouldn't have been as thrilled when the ACLU said that they questioned the killing of al-Awlaki in Yemen, a 16-year-old American citizen born in Denver that President Obama fired a predator, using a predator, killed with Hellfire missiles because he was such a clear and present danger halfway around the world. So I hope that you're just as excited if the ACLU or some other civil liberties group brings charges for the lack of due process and the killing of an American, not the attempt to capture, not the attempt to stop any other way, but killing them in another country.
Now, as a demonstrator, some of the key focal points from Project 2025 have been put in the spotlight, while ignoring some of the good ideas within Project 2025, like a change to the tax policy, reducing corporate tax. And I know what everyone's gonna say, no, I hate millionaires, I hate billionaires, but everyone hates them, but everyone wants to be one. But if you look at it objectively, if you created a business, do you want to pay all these high-ass taxes, especially when you look around and you see where your money is going to? Hell, even broke people don't want to pay for taxes.
That's the fact, Jack.
And yes, through this, rich people will become richer, sure, but so will you if you stay away from H&R Block and hire yourself a tax accountant. The conservatives, they also want regulatory reform, which means less government involved in compliance, which is somewhat of a double-edged sword. They want to improve your national defense strategy. That's a good thing, right? I mean, I agree with that. It's only a matter of time that we as a bully will fall. But I would like to extend that for as long as possible in the direction we're going currently. We're a ticking time bomb. Clock is ticking, but luckily we got Harris.
No, you're right.
They want to start appointing judges who strictly interpret the Constitution without making judgments and decisions based on how I feel. I mean, I think the left agrees with that, and so does the right. So I guess we got compromise here, potentially? Oh, no. I forgot. No, the left wants to replace the judges because they feel they're too conservative.
President Biden unveiled a trio of proposals that could potentially change the way the U.S. Supreme Court works, including who can sit on the bench and for how long.
I will make that hypocrisy hurt.
They're also interested in a healthcare reform, which is also a goal of theirs. And I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. We do need a little overhaul. It's just a matter of whether or not you agree with that type of overhaul that they want to put out there.
Project 2025 proposed cuts to Medicare or Medicaid, the federal program that provides seniors with health insurance. The answer here is no. Project 2025 does not propose cuts to Medicare. Next, Medicaid, a program where federal and state governments help people with limited resources get health care. We can verify, yes, Project 2025 does propose cuts to Medicaid. The authors want to cut costs by reducing eligibility.
My point is that none of these ideas I presented here are overall world-ending. Scan through the pages and I guarantee you will likely find more you agree with than what you disagree with if you look at the document in an objective way. But here's the second twist. You ready for it? No matter what the media tries to tell you, read between the lines. Project 2025 was created back in April of 2022. Nobody gave a shit. Most people haven't even heard of it until this time frame. What do we see here? Oh yeah, the debates occurred during that time, and Biden, well, we saw how that went.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
So Project 2025 never really caught on with conservatives. It didn't really even catch on with Trump because some of the ideas in the pamphlet were just too wild to ever pass. And although Trump said he never heard of Project 2025, and people are like, yes, you did, Heritage Foundation. Do you think the guy really pays attention what all these organizations are doing on a consistent basis, whether he supports the organization or not? But do you think he actually sat down and read the 900 pages? So my question to you is, did you actually read it?
I'll be damned if I didn't get really turned on.
Project 2025 gained attention because liberals highlighted it, using fear and misinformation to influence you and encourage you to spread their propaganda on social media. And it worked. Take a look at one of the latest documentaries put together about Project 2025.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
That's almost what I call gangster-type politics. The politics of retribution, politics of revenge.
Their reign is over. Their reign will be over.
Mr. Trump has practiced the big lie for 5 decades, and it works for him.
I actually think we won most of the country.
He represents a dark force in humanity.
You can see where they're going with that.
It's pretty scary, right? Except that Trump has repeatedly said he does not support Project 2025. He has publicly disavowed Project 2025 multiple times. Most notably in early of July 2024, he made the statements on his Truth Social platform asserting that he has nothing to do with this project. Trump described some of the project ideas as ridiculous and abysmal. While wishing those involved the best of luck, there are over 20 sources of this, by the way, that's been out there showing you that he does not support this.
And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have, they're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation.
I know people will say he lies all the time. True. More like he over-exaggerates about everything because he's a businessman.
I've done more for Black Americans than anybody, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. Nobody has even been close.
But more than not, when he says, I disavow it, he has no association with it. And I already know some of the clips that you guys are going to refer to. Go back and watch the full context of those clips, because I could already imagine someone saying, he said 2 sides. He said it was good people on 2 sides. Watch the full clip. But usually on policies, he doesn't really lie, especially since he submitted his plans to the RNC, which they adopted before nominating him, called Agenda 47.
Have you heard about Agenda Agenda 47?
Yep, all of this build up absolutely for nothing. Yeah. What's Agenda 47? Well, I got it here.
Agenda 47 outlines Donald Trump's policy plans for his 2024 presidential campaign, presented through a series of videos on his campaign's website. The plans include expanding presidential power, mass deportations, the death penalty for drug dealers, and using the National Guard in high-crime liberal cities. Additional proposals involve constructing freedom cities, investing in flying cars, offering baby bonuses, and implementing protectionist trade policies, with several requiring congressional approval or constitutional amendments.
It encompasses a wide range of proposals aimed at addressing various national issues. Some key aspects include
Donald Trump's Agenda 47 criticizes the previous administration for excessive spending, causing inflation and economic hardship. Trump proposes reining in this spending by reinstating the president's historical impoundment power, which allows the president to refuse unnecessary funds provided by Congress. He argues this will cut federal waste, reduce taxes, stop inflation, and slash the deficit. Trump promises not to cut national defense, Medicare, or Social Security, instead use savings from other areas to strengthen these programs. He also aims to challenge the Impoundment Control Act of 1974 in court, asserting this policy will eliminate the deep state, warmongers, and globalists, promoting growth and freedom.
These policies reflect Trump's and the RNC's vision for the potential second term, emphasizing conservative values, economic development, and a tough stance on crime and education. So while Trump was dodging bullets and hanging out with slutwalker Amber Rose and the real American hero Hulk Hogan, both drenched in their own swirling controversy, it seems like they were the perfect match for Trump's own roller coaster of drama, and the libs were too busy still pushing the propaganda piece known as Project 2025. Take a look.
This is some real talk for you. If you're not spending every second of every day, all next week, taking a lead pipe and a 2x4 to Donald Trump and Project 2025, get out of politics, because you do not belong in the business.
The Trump derangement syndrome is like a real thing. It's crazy. I'm going to put a source below where you can get a detailed description of what's in every single one of these plans that I'm about to go over, which again, fully on the website. Just take a look. The American Academy. I know this is one of the things that people were flipping out about in Project 2025, that they have this crazy idea to create this academy where people have to go through and basically get brainwashed. See, I saw it in Project 2025. They want to build this academy where they're going to put people through and it's going to re-educate them and basically turn them into conservative. Yeah, that's not at all what he's talking about in this one, the American Academy. I implore everyone to go ahead and take a look at it. But the American Academy essentially is this.
Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge.
He's calling for the death penalty for human traffickers. What's the status on Andrew Tate right now? Be careful, Tate. He wants to rebuild the American depleted military. We have had a significant drop in the amount of people who are joining the military. Recruitment levels are at their all-time low, and let's just be real. Some of these people they're recruiting these days, whew, good luck if we go to World War III. And then there's some stuff that is concerning. I know some people are concerned about the executive order that he wants to set up, which is ending the citizenship for illegal immigrants who have children here in the United States. So basically it's outlawing the birth tourism is what it's called. He wants to make America independent when it comes to needing energy resources. So basically energy independence once again. Same thing he was talking about back when he was running in 2016.
You self-indulgent, pathetic children who can't handle anybody who has an opposing point of view.
You will see some parallels between the 900 pages because, again, there are some good ideas in there and a lot of bad ideas. But when you keep hearing people saying, he's going to implement Project 2025, relax, take a breath, realize you're dealing with TDS on television right now.
This is DEFCON 1. No more games, no more infighting. Take all your Hollywood friends and tell them to settle down and focus. What you need to be focused on is the fascist Project 2025 and the Republican Party that has been consumed by that ideology of Christian nationalism. The end. That's your job. You got one job, y'all. One job next week.
You too may be hit with that syndrome. And if you can't relax, just put on a great video advertising Kamala Harris for presidency.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business.
Listen, you are watching Intelligent Observer. I know a lot of shit about a lot of shit, and today's episode matters, and I hope you found value in what I brought to the table. If you still want me to give up my black card, well, you will have to rip it out of my cold, dead...
That was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. This was, I believe, done to try to show his strength counter to Biden's fragility.
You know what? Take it. I'm done.